joining us. We are in the van. We are packing up and getting ready to hit the road.
That's right. Yeah. So we have been in Colorado for the last month or so, over a month, packing up, and now we're packing up, preparing to get back out there. We actually are leaving this week, which is wild.
Yeah, we're probably leaving tomorrow. Yeah, and we're very excited. We are actually going to see 7 states in 7 days, maybe. No, 7 states that we have not seen out of the lower 48. This is the only last 7 remaining states that we have yet to see. So we're excited to see the Midwest. It's going to be the Midwest. Yeah, we've put it off long enough. It's time to see the best the Midwest has to offer.
Yeah. Actually, we want to say that if any of you know when is the wedding, if any of you know when or any place in the Midwest that we should go, let us know, because we are definitely trying to figure out places that we want to visit, and we don't know a lot about that. We have some friends from the Midwest.
Yeah, we don't know too much about the Midwest, so if you know anything cool or been anywhere, have any recommendations for us, drop them in the comments. Let us know. We're making some videos in the Midwest, and we're super excited to see what the Midwest has to offer, so please let us know.
Yeah, we would love to know. We have a few places we want to go there in the Midwest.
Yeah. I mean, we've heard that northeast Iowa is pretty now. We've heard along the Mississippi. I really want to go to Minnesota. We're having some live issues here. Hopefully, we're reconnected. Can y'all hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes, let us know if you can hear us right now.
Yeah, we're on the phone right now trying to get this going. We don't have the greatest connection, but we wanted to hit this live off with a bang. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you. If you can hear us, that's great. But yeah, Minnesota, I've always wanted to go to, the land of 10,000 lakes. So we're excited to do the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska, and Michigan. So yeah, those are the 7 states. I might have left one out, but yeah, that's
you
the
say
area.
Nebraska?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I said them all. What's up, Unc? How you doing?
What's up?
What's going on?
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, thanks for showing up. But yeah, we wanted to make this video to share with you in a 4-part series what it's like, what you need to know as a beginner to get on the road. So everything from like the idea, the conception of the idea, the inspiration of, hey, I think I want to get into van life, to, okay, now I have got a van, built it out, and I am traveling. What is it like to live on the road? So this is step 1, phase 1, where we are going to cover your inspiration, the idea of van life, and what you should do with those first couple steps.
Yeah, we really wanted to do this because when I remember, if I take it back to 2018, I remember feeling like when I brought up the idea of van life to people would be like, what? You want to live in a van? Or they just didn't get it. Family was kind of the same, understandably so. It was something that they didn't know about, and so it was one of those things that people just weren't quite sure what to do. So okay, we might have to move.
We don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, we do. You want to stay here? All right, so hopefully this works. Okay. But yeah, we just really want to share our knowledge with you. Also, if you hear music in the background, it is because there's an event going on in the area that we're in. So you get some free music. Oh, Unc says he might have to move.
Where are you moving to? But yeah, so continue.
Oh yeah, so that's really all I have to say, is that I was really excited to be able to share. I want to be able to share our knowledge with you, and I'm really hyped that we get to do this with you. So
yeah. So we'll briefly touch on the inspiration of why we got on the road, and then move into like, okay, now we had this idea. What did we do first?
Yeah. So it started with an idea. We had just got back from traveling to Italy together, and if any of you watched our live last month, you know that Reed and I traveled through Italy together. And if you want that whole story. I would love it if you would go and watch the live that we did last month. It is still on our channel, and it shares all of those things. We actually did that live as kind of an expression of us celebrating our 6-year anniversary. We've been together 6 years now, and so we shared our origin story, and it all started with, okay, sorry y'all, I hate that the connection isn't working very well. But we think we're gonna move inside. The lighting's not gonna be as good, but let's do it. Come with me. I will give you a little tour. All right, will you grab that? Thanks for sticking with us. I'm just happy you're here, honestly. We have missed you all. For those who watch our videos consistently, you know that we post weekly, but we haven't been posting weekly. It's actually been a month since we have posted. So I'm just happy we get to share with you again. I really missed picking up the camera, and let's turn on some lights because I'm gonna make this work, period, point blank. We're making this live stream work. Some of you might recognize this. This is where we did our live last week. Oh, you want to see Bella? Of course. Bella.
I'll bring her over. Just, you can put it down.
Oh. Come on, Bella.
Bella, sit. Oh. Sit. How you doing, girl? You feeling good? You can see her hair's all grown back in. Oh, where you going? Her hair's pretty much grown back in. You can sit. You can barely see where the surgery was. So yeah, she's doing good. She's 12 weeks from her surgery, so she is pretty much fully healed up, and we're just trying to get a little bit of that muscle back in this leg. There's a slight difference, but overall she's doing good. What do you say, Bella? What do you say, shit? Yeah, sweetheart. She's like, can I be on the live? Yes. Oh. But yes, we're
Princess Bella.
we are very thankful that she is doing well. But yeah, we wanted to do the live from the van. We knew there might be some difficulties, but we're getting on the road in a day or two, and we're so excited to be back in the van, and we enjoy being in the van. So we were hoping to do it there, but well, I guess we have to do it from the dining room table here. But yeah, where were we?
Let me adjust, okay? Y'all, this is raw. This is raw. This is real. This is real life.
Yeah.
Thank you for holding in and hanging on.
Yes, yes. So, did you set the scene?
I set the scene. We were in Italy. Sorry, I gotta adjust more. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Can you hear us? Can someone tell me if you can hear us much better?
All right.
I'm just glad Unc said LOL. I know, Unc. This is a whole thing. I'm sorry.
It's a mess. All right. Well, so we fell in love with travel, and we came back to the States, and we wanted to make it work for us. So we decided that we couldn't travel abroad. We wanted to travel around the U.S., and we wanted to do it in like an RV or something like that. And we came across van life and realized it was the best way to travel with Bella and eventually Rita. And so we jumped in, and we started researching how to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really cool time because it was, you know when you're on the precipice of something, you know that life could change forever and things might, and you don't know what's going to happen. And thanks, Jen. And also Kelly, thank you for being here. But yeah, so we just didn't know what was going to be next, and that was a really exciting time for us. And I'm so happy that we're getting back in the van and we're taking the time to reflect on that, because I think so often we pass major milestones in our life and something monumental and big that happened, but we don't take the time to look back and be like, wow, that was really big. I did something that maybe people in my life were telling me it wasn't gonna, pan out, or maybe people just didn't get it, or maybe I didn't fully believe in myself. And so for us to look back and be like, we made that happen, um, that's super cool. And I really appreciate that. Yes, we're gonna be talking about the cost of van life too.
Yeah,
So
yeah. We definitely might have underestimated the cost of laundry and gas and some hidden expenses and
yeah.
just things in general. I think you can make it work on any budget, particularly, but it's about what you're willing to live with and without, and what your comfort and all that.
Yeah, and we'll dive more into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But we were kind of going to walk you through the steps of what it took. So we set the scene a little bit. Let me give a little more context. Like I said, Reed and I decided, okay, what is this? What is this? How are we going to travel more? And I ended up going to an event. It was the Women on the Road gathering. It ended up being the last year that they had this gathering, but it's for female identifying people. You can go to this event, or you could go, and it was a bunch of women that came together to share what they were experiencing and what it was like to be on the road, and like sharing that experience together and all coming together to really understand what that looked like for them, And so during that time, I met incredible people. And I saw that you could live van life on a variety of different costs, on a variety of different rigs, and you could make it how you wanted to make it. Like we said, there are things that we didn't take into account, which is why we want to make this video in the first place, because there were things we underestimated. And I want people coming into it to know of those things ahead of time. If you hear that, that's Bella walking. When she walks, we realize she kind of scrapes her feet on the ground, so you might hear that. But I came back from that gathering so hyped up and high on life. I was like, this is what we're gonna do. I feel empowered. I see people doing this. I just know this is the right path for us. And Reed was like, really? Like, this really is amping you up this much? I haven't seen you light up this way since Italy. I'm like, yes, Reed, like, this is it. So we started the research phase, and let's get into that. The research phase has many parts to it, and we're gonna kind of discuss the things that we thought of in this phase.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta ask yourself what kind of van you want. Once you've decided that you want a van, there's so many different factors at play. Gas mileage. Do you want to be able to stand or not? How big? Do you want to be able to fit in the parking spaces? Maneuverability, all that kind of stuff. We knew that we wanted to stand. That was a deal breaker for us, and so that kind of nixed out a lot of vans. But there's a lot more four-wheel drive options out there if you don't want a high roof. But if you want four-wheel, all-wheel drive, those are big factors to consider as well. But we went with more of a cargo style van. We did the Ram ProMaster van. But there's also, the Sprinters. You can find some older ones for a little bit cheaper. They have the Ford Transits, make all-wheel drive. They're a bit longer, and a little more narrow. We went with the ProMaster because they're known for being a little boxier, wider, and people can sleep widthways if you're about 6 foot, 6'1", which is great. So that really helps your layout. So yeah, you really make a checklist of kind of what you desire on your van and do the research. There's a lot of different vans out there.
Yeah, I do want to put in that there's so many vans. There's so many low roof vans and vans that come at many different price points, like Chevy Astros, Chevy G20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, aren't those? Yeah. Those are all low roof, and they're usually cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Westphalias, and then there's the big vans like step vans if you need more space, and aren't too worried about parking and driving it and whatnot. So those are definitely all the questions you should be asking yourself. Do you need 4x4, high roof, low roof, new, used? How much space, your budget, and gas mileage, to recap that. But yeah, we kind of narrowed in on the van we wanted pretty early because we wanted a good amount of space. We wanted a high roof, and we wanted something that was like freshly used so we could get a little bit of discount, but we didn't want something with too many miles because we are honestly, I don't know, I was pretty scared to get on the road, and I wanted something that wasn't going to break down on us. Neither of us are mechanically sound, so we wanted something that was freshly used that we can be comfortable with hitting the road. Do you recommend building or buying pre-built? We'll touch a little bit on that later, but we built ours out ourselves, And we had zero building experience, and it was fun. I wouldn't take it back at all. It was hard work, and we and it wasn't easy, but it was a rewarding experience. And I would recommend building out your own van if you can, because for cost, and you get to customize it exactly how you want.
And then you know how to fix things too.
Yeah.
It gives you a level of confidence
Yeah.
that I really appreciate that we have. And
Yeah.
also just an appreciation. Like, I can look at the van and we're laying there at night and I'm like, we built this with our 2 hands or 4
Yeah.
hands. And so
Yeah.
that's a really cool experience.
Yeah, it gave me. I've never been very handy, and after we built the van, you know, if something would break outside of the van or whatever, I would like start taking it apart and try to figure it out. And so like it definitely helps boost your confidence and helps you, you know, feel more handy and give you more of like a can do. We're gonna fix this mentality.
Yeah, I will say that if pre-built, obviously it depends on timing. How long do you want it to take before you get on the road? It took us about a year because we were working full time while we built out the van, and so we were taking our time. Yeah. And so if you're someone who wants to get out there ASAP, then take that, then I get it, you know?
If it's in your budget, really, that's what it comes down to for most people is the pre-built ones are very expensive most of the time. I mean, there are instances of it not being too expensive, but it's going to cost you a little bit more, so that's usually why people build out their own vans.
Definitely.
Budget.
Yeah, so we were talking about spending a year.
Yeah. We kind of spent a year looking for vans while saving to buy the van. And then once we bought the van, we spent a year working and saving while building the van.
Yeah.
So that way we'd have some cushion and a budget to last us for a little bit while after we got on the road.
Yeah, it was a slow roll for us, for sure. And so when before we got the van, it was us, you know, budgeting to buy the van. And so there are things to consider and questions to ask when you're budgeting for the van. And how are you going to be making money? You know, that's a huge one.
Yeah. Do
you have a job that you can already take remotely? Or are you going to have to find a new job that you can do remotely? Or see if there's capabilities for the job you have now to have more flexibility, and you can do that from the road. Also, you need to consider, are you someone who wants to be like not working at all? That means that you're gonna have to save up ahead of time.
Yeah, or you retire, have a fixed income, something like that, where you don't necessarily need to work. So that will affect kind of your layout and build as well and your travel plans. You know, are you going to work seasonally if you do need to work? You know, there's jobs where you can work different harvests. You can work at a ski resort. I kind of want to work at a pumpkin patch. That sounds like fun to me. I like October. My birthday's in October. So, you know, that would be kind of cool. But yeah, there's all kinds of different websites out there for you to work remotely. There's like Flex Jobs, Remote Co. We Work Remotely. Upwork. Yeah, there's all kinds of resources out there that are like solely focused on remote work. So if you're looking for a remote job, there are tools online. We also know a lot of people that have traditional jobs on the road. Like we've met engineers, we've met people with sales jobs, travel nurses, content creators. What is a couple?
It isn't quite traditional.
Yeah, not traditional, but people do it on the road to make money. And there's a lot of freelance writers and stuff like that as well. Website designers, a lot of tech people on the road, people that teach languages. Now with Starlink, if you know, you can pretty much work anywhere if you've got Starlink.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it.
Nice Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that like has changed the game.
Yeah,
when we were in Baja, we saw so many people. We'd see the Starlink on top of vans everywhere. And I think that probably changed the game for so many people that were out there. They might not have been able to be there as long without it. So, and then there also, you know, we don't have Starlink right now. So we still are working from libraries, from cafes. We're trying to find places with Wi-Fi, thus us having some connectivity issues earlier. We're still, you know, figuring that out, but we also really like and embrace working in places within a new city because it gives us the opportunity to meet people and get to know a place better that way.
That question, is there more van life for something? There's a lot of companies out there that are building vans, which tells you that there's a huge demand for it. Coming back to Denver, pretty much any park you go to in Denver is going to have like a van or two in it. As
Oh
you know,
yeah.
van lifers love a good park to hang out into. So yeah, there's definitely more people on the road today, and there's laws that are changing because of it. So you do get on the road, be very respectful of your space and the people around you. You know, always be clean, and don't disturb the peace, because it affects people that need to live in vans out of necessity. So, we try to be respectful of
Yeah.
that and try to clean up after ourselves and follow the rules in areas we are, because we know that for us it is a luxury to be on the road, and for some people that's not the case. So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I think there's a bunch of questions that you might have coming into van life. I know for me, I had like questions on safety and security, like where we're gonna park at night, the bathroom, all like the main questions that people had. There's so many blogs out there and people like us that are willing to share with you like our experience. If you have any questions about getting on the road, you can drop them in the comments right now. Any kind of fears or things that come to mind of just like day-to-day life that seems kind of odd, or like how do they make that work. I know I kind of had like a little like does not compute moment going on when I was thinking about living full-time in the van, like what, like how's this gonna work. But when I got on the road, a lot of those fears and questions were answered pretty smoothly and seamlessly. So that was nice. I don't think I've had anything that I was scared of before going on the road that then like lived up to the fear. So
Like, for example, Reed was definitely, when we first started talking about getting on the road, he's like, I cannot have us not know where we're sleeping that night. So when we wake up, we have to figure out where we're sleeping, because I cannot
yeah, I
wait.
didn't want to stress about that.
Yeah.
I value my sleep, and I did not want to stress about where we're gonna be sleeping.
It's valid for sure.
But there's apps, and there's you kind of figure out through traveling where you're comfortable sleeping and make it work.
Yeah,
and
like,
we're definitely way more laid back about that now.
iOverlander, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of that one already. iOverlander's a huge one.
Yeah, it's a great
Park
resource.
for the night.
Yeah, freecampsites.net is a good one. Yeah, we do see a lot of car campers out there, which brings me to a point that I want to make about, we're gonna move on to layouts of vans. When you've thought about van life, you want your van, and you picked it out, and you kind of have an idea of like your layout, or you want to figure out your layout. You should make like a priorities checklist.
Yeah.
That will also influence what van you decide to buy.
Right.
Do you need a shower? Do you need a bathroom? What kind of cooktop do you need? Do you need multiple burners? How big is your bed gonna be? Or like how big of a bed do you need to sleep comfortably? Do you need a dining room? Do you want to be able to host? Like, what are things that you feel like you can't live without? Write them all out, and then maybe you start going through and say, okay, like I think we did it. We made a necessity checklist, and then we started Xing things off that we might not need, or like, oh, I could probably live without this. That was very helpful for us to decide on a layout, because we knew what van we wanted, and then finding a layout can be overwhelming. There's like millions of layouts on Instagram. Denise was looking on Pinterest like every night. There's a lot of blogs that detail out their builds and everything, their layouts. So there's a lot of resources out there for you to pick a layout. Something that we did that was very beneficial is we went to an expo, which I recommend if you're not on the road yet, and you were looking for a layout. The expos can be very helpful. We saw car campers there. People in Subarus, Prius, I mean, any kind of small cars I've seen, not even SUVs or big vehicles. A lot of people do trucks and stuff like that. But yeah, we went to an expo. We saw car campers there. We saw different vans. We saw prefabricated vans like the Mercedes, or Ram, the Winnebagos and stuff like that are already pre-made. And we got Travados, and we got to go inside and like sit down and see how they were and be like, oh, okay, like this is nice, but this is kind of cramped and whatnot, right? I like this about that, and it was just cool to see car campers out there making it work. It just kind of opens up your horizons when you see a lineup of 12 to 25 different vehicles, and they're all out making it work, traveling. So highly recommend going to expos. They're very beneficial before getting on the road and giving you ideas of what you want to do for your build or for the van that you want to buy.
It's being in it is very different than seeing it online, right? Like getting up into someone's van, maybe even like opening drawers if they allow it, and they're
Oh yeah,
comfortable
for
with
sure.
that,
They usually
like
do.
peeking around and sitting down and being like, okay, I see it, I can imagine this. That's like such a big deal because it helps you understand what you can and can't live without. And I think also you're going to be surprised because that list will change and shift,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like,
Yeah.
there's certain things where, like, we cannot live without a shower, hands down, absolutely not. We can't live without a shower. We have an outdoor shower, and then we also go to Planet Fitness, and that actually has really worked out for us because that makes us also feel encouraged to work out when we're at a Planet Fitness,
Mm.
and it gets us out of the van. It gets us both like doing our own thing, and it gives you like a new change in environment. And so for us that works perfectly fine. In fact, even if we did a new van build, I would not put a shower in it. I just think for us, like, you have to hold so much water, you have to have a hot water tank, you
I don't
have
have to. I like cold showers, but yeah.
he likes cold
It
showers.
takes up an obnoxious amount of
It
space.
does. And some people really, really want that. And if that's on your list, I mean, absolutely go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just knowing yourself and knowing what you're going to need. And also knowing that your priorities might shift. Reed was a 2 showers a day kind of guy before we got on the road. And now, like, things have shifted, priorities have changed. So you might be surprised how you change when you get on the road. So if you get an opportunity to, like you said, Unc, if you get an opportunity to be in a car camper and even in your own car, take it out for a weekend, for a long weekend, holiday weekend, and put your pillow in there, put a blanket down, lay out, like bring everything you think you need, within reason, and feel out like, okay, maybe this isn't the setup I want, but how can I kind of be creative and picture what I want?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right.
Like, how do I change when I'm in a different environment?
Right. Entirely so. Yeah. Because you're not gonna need everything you think you need, and that's a big thing. I think we definitely bought some
Yeah.
things we didn't need. So if you can get some experience, like if you have the funds to maybe buy a rental camper van, I know they're in most of the major cities. You can buy a rental and kind of take it out and be like, okay, I like this about that. I can do without this. So
Yeah.
that's definitely your priority shift.
They do. A lot more than you'll expect. You'll change in ways that you didn't expect or you couldn't have even imagined, which is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
So layout, we talked about kind of like what we like and what you might like or don't like. I want to talk about kind of what our layout. What things did we prioritize? What didn't we prioritize?
Yeah, we definitely prioritized like a queen size bed. We wanted a lot of garage space because we wanted a lot of storage. So we have a high bed. We knew we didn't want to be making our bed all the time, so we did a fixed bed instead of. But then that's hard because people we've met with fixed beds like us often wish that they had a convertible bed to kind of host more, and then people that have converted beds usually want a fixed bed. So the jury's still out on that one, but
I will say we're able to bring so much gear.
yeah.
Like, we like being able to have our paddle board in there.
Yeah.
We like being able to have hiking
We
gear.
could fit a bike in there.
We could fit a bike in there if we want, which I kind of want. So it gives us the opportunity to bring a lot of gear with us. Reed loves to ski and or snowboard specifically, and so we can fit his snowboard in our back. And so having a fixed bed is why that's possible. We also really prioritize having a big fridge. We love to cook and we love to eat. And so that was a big deal for us. So we wanted to be able to go off grid for like a week or so and not worry about groceries. So we also wanted a lot of water. So we have a 40-gallon water tank. And that is great because then we can go off and not worry, about a long.
Yeah, we usually can make it like sometimes we go less than a week, but if we were trying to conserve water really well, which we do conserve water, but if we were being very like stingy with the water, we probably could make it like a little over 2 weeks. We've definitely gone 2 weeks before without it. It just depends how many dishes we do. Dishes eat up the most amount of water for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that, and then we made sure that we wanted a good amount of energy. We have 400 amp hours, but they aren't lithium. So we could use about half of that, and it's been everything we've needed for our fridge, our fans, powering electronics and stuff like that. I'm trying to think what else draws a lot. Our heater and stuff like that. Yeah, that's been more than enough. 400 amp hours of AGM batteries have been very well for us. Even though we ran them down a little too low about 2 years in to the road, they're not like the same batteries they were when we first
Not
got them.
optimized.
But yeah, they're not up to their full. They're not new batteries anymore. We've had them for almost 3 years, so we'll be replacing them probably in a few years. But they still work so great. We have 600 watts on the roof. That does the trick too. That's maybe probably
It's a
even a
lot.
overkill, maybe even too.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot.
I don't know if you necessarily need that many watts unless you have more batteries, more amp hours, and you're powering something more heavy duty. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another thing like we're talking about, we love to cook, so I wanted to make sure that we had enough countertop space. I think that's something that we wanted that, and also like things you'll have to make what's the word I'm looking for when you don't get what you want.
Compromise.
Compromises. You have to be able to compromise.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're gonna have to be able to be like, all right, I really wanted this, but we flipped our layout probably like
Last minute.
pretty last minute, and so the the kitchen area we had to be made a lot smaller. And Reed, luckily for us, he got really crafty and he made us extra countertop space, which I really appreciate. But it's fine. There's gonna be some things where you're like, wow, that person's van is awesome because they have a huge countertop, and you're gonna be like, well,
A little envious.
I was able to fit this because of it. And so just be okay with the fact that it is a small space, and kind of the point of being on the road, in my opinion, is being able to say, like, it's okay. Like, letting go of this idea and need to have things exactly how we want it, and realizing that so much of the happiness we get from the road is from the connections we make with people, and like
the experiences that we have. It's not like necessarily the appliance or something you have in the van that's going to bring you happiness.
right.
It's not about having every luxury. Yeah, so there's going to be trade-offs for sure, big time.
Yeah, and I don't want anyone to feel discouraged, because you'll see a van online. Maybe even some people see our van and you're like, wow, they were able to make this amazing van. My van's not going to look like that. I have friends of all varieties on the road. We have friends that have vans, of all shapes and sizes.
Some people with just like a bed in there and like a 5-gallon water jug. Like, people make it work however you can.
And that's just cool. If you get on the road, period, you are awesome if you're able to just like make it work however you can. That's cool enough. That's awesome.
For sure, yeah. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses in the van, right? Okay.
Any other layout things?
I don't know what I guess I'll ask you a question. Like, what's one thing that you can't live without that we have in the van?
Ooh. One thing I can't live without in the van. I think when we were when we were in Mexico, I think I couldn't live without our stand-up paddleboard, because it gave us, that's just what came to mind, because it was an opportunity for us to get on the water and just like have a moment of peace, and it was something that, I don't know, like a luxury.
Which would go to, layout-wise, prioritizing storage to have said paddleboard. So,
And it was cool because Reed actually won this paddleboard right before we got on the road from his job, which was amazing.
It was perfect timing.
But also, if you don't have things like that, when we were on our way back up north, back to the U.S., our friends Blake and Mariah, they had 2 paddleboards, and it's so cool, the people you meet. They were like, use our paddleboard whenever you want. Like,
yeah,
no
we ended
problem.
up using theirs more than ours because it was aired up and ready to go.
Yeah, and so you're gonna meet people who have these cool toys and gadgets.
One wheels and
can I borrow that? And people are like,
e-bikes,
yeah, do it.
Motorcycles, ATVs, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, people are very kind and generous on the road and willing to share most times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something else I can't live without, I think, might be our Jackery.
Ooh, that'll be mine.
Yeah.
Well, even though you're the one with the phone that's always dead, so I guess
my phone is
a portable travel. A portable power bank is definitely a necessity for us. We like to sit outside and work outside and whatnot, and so being able to charge your laptop or phone or whatever you need while sitting outside at a
Game changer.
campsite, yeah, it's amazing. So we definitely highly recommend some sort of portable battery bank. I forget how many watts ours is. It's only like 60 or.
It's right there.
80. Oh.
Do you want to see it?
Yeah, something like this. Which is literally charging our laptop right now, even though we're inside.
Yeah, it's charging our laptop even though we're
But it's
inside.
got 12-volt USBs. This is the input. You can charge it with the sun, and yeah, you got your regular AC power there. We have a Jackery, but you can do any brand.
And this is not sponsored. We just like it.
Yeah, so I was like, you can get anything you want because we talk about Jackery a lot. It is the 240 edition, Explorer 240. So yeah, it does a trick for us. It's a good size. I think it's like they make one size smaller or whatever, but this one works really well for us. We definitely have counted on it so many times.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's times when you'll even be in a cafe, and if it's a full cafe,
oh, for sure.
or if they just don't have outlets around, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, we always bring it.
I bring it everywhere.
Every cafe, parks, campsites. Yeah, we take it out with us. So, yeah.
Is there any other thing you think you can't live without in the van?
Well, when I was drinking coffee, it was like maybe a AeroPress or a French press, but I'm not drinking coffee right now, so let's see. I mean, I guess I couldn't live with a outdoor shower. I know people might need an indoor shower. I like cold showers, and we have it set up in the back to where you get some privacy, and usually I'll just use like a swimsuit if we're somewhere where there's people, but being able to go for runs and work out and stuff and then come back and just wash off real quick is definitely very, very nice. You can also use it to give Bella a bath and wash your shoes off and stuff like that. So yeah, outdoor shower. It's probably a necessity that I could probably live without, but I'm just gonna say I can't live without it,
Yeah, you do love it.
But yeah, hey guys, how you doing? Anybody got some questions for us out there on, what it is, I don't know what I was gonna say. You got any questions at all?
Any questions? Yeah. I think the weirder the better, because I think those are the kind of questions that are like hard to ask, right? Like there were questions that I had that I didn't want to just like message someone that I didn't know on social media and be like, hey, what's the question even? I mean, I know about it now, but like the toilet situation, like I didn't want to just message someone in the beginning. Now I do it freely because
it's like a very common question that people ask.
I can't think of one, but there's just questions that you're like, maybe someone will think I'm weird for asking this, or they I don't know. So if you have any questions, no matter what it is,
your questions are safe with us.
They're safe with us. But also some other things, I just touched on reaching out to people online. I think that is such a huge thing to do. Don't be afraid. So many people in the community are willing to answer questions, and I asked questions to everyone. And it was cool because then I got to interact with people before we actually got on the road, so I felt like we already had a bit of community because I had already interacted with some people. And I would just ask questions, and it's cool because at one point online I would ask questions about our solar system. And so I'd be like, hey, I don't know how we should we get shore power? Should we not do shore power? Can you give me some stuff? And we had people that barely even know us reach out and were like, you know what? Why don't you give me a FaceTime call and I will walk you through how to set it up. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, easily. Like, call us today.
I forgot about that.
That was so cool.
Yeah, that was really nice.
We had someone send us a power bank.
Yeah, we had some electrical components sent to us from
somebody. They were like,
hey,
I have this extra stuff that I don't need. Yeah. I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah, there's a lot of forums and places out there that people are chit-chatting and talking about builds and stuff like that are more than willing to help you in ways you would never imagine.
Mm-hmm. There are Facebook groups. There are groups all over the place where people will just like... It's such a giving community, I think, because we all know that, we're all, there's safety in numbers. There's safety in helping each other out. And it's also like you rely on the kindness of strangers once you're out in the world and you're in a van or you're traveling. You rely on the kindness of strangers. And so many people want to give that back.
For sure. Then we got a question. Do you recommend starting off slow or jumping straight into van life? I would recommend starting slow as far as for the build and like purchasing your van, figuring out what's right for you. I think while doing your build, taking your van out and stuff is very, very, very beneficial to see what you need and what kind of layout you want, so you know what to buy and you'll optimize your happiness later on down the road. You'll inevitably probably make some changes regardless of how long you take to build. So there's kind of like a happy medium there. I don't think, if you want to jump straight in, like I'm all go for it. But if you have like some reservations, and I would definitely take it a little slow. But at some point you just gotta go for it. I mean, for us, like we kind of delayed it way longer than Denise wanted to delay it. So she wanted to jump right in.
I was like
I wanted
3
to-
months. 3
yeah.
months.
I wanted to take it slow. We ended up taking it pretty slow. I mean, we spent a year getting the van, saving up, and then a year doing the build. So that's 2 years.
It was 3 years total.
Yeah.
Since 2018.
Well, yeah, but like.
That without that portion of it.
Yeah. But so I'd say we took it slow for the most part, but we also were actively moving towards it. Like we had the plan, we had the vision in sight, and we were working towards it. So as long as you have your goal and you're making it happen, however long it takes is how long it's going to be right for you.
And don't stress it.
Yeah.
There were people that I saw that would be done in like 3 months, and I would look online. I'm like, why haven't we finished our van? Like, we're way past that deadline. And then I realized...
Even now, we sometimes would be like, dang, you did your van in this amount of time, and it took us like a year or whatever, or longer, and it's like, dang, like, could we have done it should we have done it faster?
But I appreciate that we also, like you said, took our time, because I think it then gave us time to mull it over and to ask questions that we wouldn't have asked otherwise. You know what I mean? Like, it gave me time to be like, okay, do I really need this? Do I not? What am I looking for? And it gave us a longer amount of time to consider everything we'd need. And it just gave us enough time to save up for a year.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to just enjoy the road for a year without worrying about money as much.
I encourage you to sell everything and hit the road full time. I encourage that for sure.
Did someone say that?
Yeah. They said they're at this point in their life where they're about to try to sell everything off and hit the road full time. We sold most of our things off. We did keep a car.
We did it in stints.
Yeah, we kept a car for about a year back in storage at our mom's house, and then when we came back, we sold that officially because we were like, we don't need this car sitting around. But
well, and also we had a bunch of stuff. So I will say that like, we came into it with a lot of stuff. Both Reed and I collect a bunch of stuff.
A lot of Goodwill runs, a lot of donations, throwing stuff out. It was in waves,
It was in waves. And
probably
so
like 5 or 6 times we would cycle through everything.
I'd say, so we went on the road for 4 months in the beginning. When we got back after 4 months, we came back to Colorado to visit my family. And we realized we had so much stuff still and whatnot. And I was like, well, we don't need all this. Because then you are more comfortable just shedding stuff, right? In the beginning, it was so hard for me to even, like, believe that. Because you're so used to in a house collecting stuff. Yeah. And so my mindset in 4 months completely shifted. I'm like, get rid of this. Get rid of this. I don't want this. I don't want that. And then, then that happened again, right? Yeah. Then we went on the road for an entire year. Yeah. We come back. And it happened again. Because
clutter becomes stressful in a small space too. You don't want to, and we pick up things on the road here and there a little bit, and then you come back and you have some things that you've accumulated that you don't need, then you still have things you're holding on to that you don't need, and it's just like get rid of it all kind of deal. But we haven't got rid of everything. We still have possessions that we enjoy that we keep on to. We probably have like a closet's worth of things,
which is too much.
Of like personal a closet.
It depends on who you ask, I think.
I don't know. Let you guys decide. It's a closet of things between two people. Not even a walk-in closet, just a normal closet. Pretty small closet, quite frankly. And then we have that and like as our storage, and then we have everything else that we put in the van. And we have a couple of items in the garage, but that's like garage things, like some tools and whatnot. But yeah. We definitely downsized a lot.
And I will say, if you're ready to just sell everything, I'm glad we did it in stints, because I think even in the beginning, we didn't know how long we'd be on the road. Sometimes people get on the road, they think they're going to be on the road forever, and they hate it.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. Some people get on the road like us, thought we'd only be on the road for 6 months to a year. And we're 2.5 years in, and we're gonna keep going.
Okay,
We're ready to
got
go.
at least another year in us, baby.
I think more than that. I think I've got a long while, and I think so. It's like you don't know exactly in the beginning, so I think us doing it in stints helps. I don't know. I think I'm gonna put it on here.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, sweet.
There we go. We got all the questions up.
Happy Hippie the Vinyl Guy, thanks for being here. I love when you comment. It's so cool because at this point, there are a lot of people that I feel like I really know because you comment so much that I just feel like I know you. Are they saying wheelbase?
WB, what's WB mean?
Is that wheelbase?
I mean, that's what we think WB is.
Yeah, what is our wheelbase?
We have a 159 wheelbase. But
I don't know if that's
I don't
your
think that's what
question.
they're asking, but yeah, we have the 159. The Ram Pro Masters make a 132, 159 make a 160 something or 171. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is a 159 extended actually.
Welcome back.
So you can tell we
See,
don't
we're
do-
in like van mindset.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? I'm like, what are van
Yeah.
lingo?
Oh man,
That's so funny.
That's hilarious.
Let's see.
But yeah, we're kind of closing out here. So if any of y'all have any questions related to getting on the road, about us, even we talked a little bit in the beginning. If you weren't here in the beginning, we're about to hit the road in a day or two, and we're going to be hitting up the Midwest. If you have any recommendations for the Midwest, North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, Wisconsin,
Nebraska.
Minnesota, Nebraska, and Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah. So
if you know places that you love in any of those places, or places you wanted to go and you're like, I'd love someone to tell me what that place is like, let us know, because we don't know much about those areas at all.
Yeah. So we're looking into some events and things to do in those areas. We'll be making some videos about the Midwest. So if you're curious about the Midwest, hopefully we can highlight and share some things that we find interesting about the Midwest.
We love hanging out with y'all.
Yeah, we do for sure. But yeah, so this is part 1. We're going to do a 4-part series of what it's like to come up with the idea, everything van, getting on the road, budgeting, buying a van, all that kind of stuff. This is like the first phase of step 4.
Yeah, and so
4 steps.
4 steps. We're gonna do the live the first weekend of every month. So it's gonna kind of be drawn out, I know. So if you have questions, ask them as we go, and we can try to answer them in our comment sections. But we'll also collect the questions you ask just throughout the month, and then we'll just hit you with them in the first weekend of the month. We'll do a live.
Yeah. Part 2 is going to be, so you bought a van. Now you have a van. What do you do from there? What is the steps to, if you built it out yourself, if you bought a pre-built, how did you go about the next phase before getting on the road?
Yeah. And I'm really excited for that part because this is the simmering phase. I don't know who here is really, thinking about it, and that's why you're here. If you are, this simmering phase is so exciting because it's the dream phase, right? You're dreaming of what life's going to be like on the road. You're imagining, what it could be like. What am I going to want to do? Who am I going to meet? Like, how am I going to change as a person? Like, wow, there's so much to offer, and that's such a really amazing phase. And you also can get analysis paralysis in this phase. I think it's kind of like the fear of the unknown, which is so understandable. We went through that. Like we said, it took us a year, so we understand it. But the next phase is where things start going, baby. Like, that's where things just rocket, and you're going to just see so much. Even in that phase, you're going to see so much growth in yourself, so much inspiration. And so, yeah, you are not weird if you want to live in a van. Or maybe you're just as weird as us. And there's so many people doing it as well. And if you don't want to live in a van and you're here because you're just curious about it, that's okay too. I think the main message we want to share is whatever life you want to live, we want to support you on that road, because there is no one way to make your dreams happen. There's no one way to live. Reed wanted to let his locks out. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but his hair's gotten so long.
It's been a road thing, yeah. when we first hit the road, I did a buzz cut actually like a year into being on the road. So this is about a year and a half, and we're gonna keep it going. I told Denise I'm gonna grow it to my butt the other day, and she.
I will support you in whatever you do. He is his own person, and I support him.
Are y'all feeling the
I like
hair?
this phase better. I think they have to see it after, like, right after a shower, because then he has really cute curls.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's one way that Rita's changed while being on the road.
I'm actually growing out to donate it to make a wig out of it for like Wigs for Kids or something like that, or Locks of Love, some kind of organization like that. But it's actually growing on me, no pun intended.
Yeah. There's been phases where he's like, I just want to cut it off. And now he's like, I just want to grow it as long. That's so you, Reed.
I want to be like
That
Fabio.
is so Reed, y'all. If you want to know something about Reed, one day he's like, I got to cut it off. It just has to be gone. And then the next day, Unc, thank you. I hope to see you on our next live. Thanks for always showing up. You're a real one. You really are. But yeah, that's Reed. If you want to know who Reed is, 1 minute he'll want to cut it all off, the next minute he wants to grow it to his butt. So maybe next video, because we will be posting weekly again. Unc, if you're still here, we're posting weekly again. So we will have a video out next week, and maybe his hair will be cut off by then.
Maybe he'll be
There's
bald.
no way to know.
No way.
It'll just happen in the moment. Honestly, I love chatting with y'all. That's why we want to do more lives. I'm wondering if anyone wants us to like take all this information we have now and either put it in a comprehensive blog post or in some sort of form for you to have it, because on a live, we're answering questions, we're jumping around, things happened in the beginning, so you're not getting all the information just easily accessible. So we could make a full video where it's just like, here are the details.
Yeah, more structured.
That's more structured. Or we could also make a blog post or some sort of, thing that you can take with you. So let me know if you're interested in that. We just love chatting with you, though. I've said that a million times because I love
true.
it. Anything else before we leave?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I'm just super excited to get back out there and go to the Midwest. I think we saved the Midwest because I didn't really want to go there for so long, but now that is the last place to go to, I'm extremely excited because the anticipation has built, and I've seen beauty all over the country, so I know there's gonna be so many amazing places to see. I mean, it's such a large, there's so many states, like every state has something great to offer, so I can't wait to check it out.
Right.
And see.
Are we back? Okay. I told him I just have a feeling that our favorite places are gonna be the ones that aren't on this list. We're just gonna find things, and we did. You went skiing in Arizona. We didn't expect that. We went to Fossil Springs right away. These are stories we'll share more of in phase 2 because that's after you get the van, or phase 3 actually.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to tell
4.
y'all that I think so many people have told us now that we are going to these states that there are so many amazing things to see.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? Like, people are like, the Badlands. You got to go to the Badlands in South Dakota. People are like, you have to go to the Northeast in Iowa. Mm-hmm. We also just missed Ragbri. Does anyone know what Ragbri is? Ragbri is a once a year, it's an annual event that happens where people bike around. They bike through the entirety of Iowa. And we really wanted to do it this year, but it doesn't happen it happened last week. And so we missed it just by this much because we ended up having things going on. But that's something I really want to do. Yeah. There's a whole list of things we want to do, a whole bucket list of things that we really want to do. And we want to, since we're getting back on the road, we've written down and started talking about this bucket list of things we want to do. And so we're going to share that with you. And there's more on that coming up soon. But I think we're done. I think that's all we had to share with you. So thanks for being here. We appreciate you, and we will see you next week. We're going to have a video coming out on Saturday. I promise. I know we don't always get them out on Saturdays. I promise it's coming out. I can't wait for y'all to watch it. Mwah. We'll see you next time. Thank you and goodbye,
Bye.
everybody, if we know how to.
All right, you just had it. Boom.